Hi friends, and this is Shanker, uh, and today I was in my series. I was talking about my father, late K.C. Saksena. His name was Kailash Chandra Saksena, and I have his horoscope also at the top, which you would see is a very powerful horoscope. Excepting that Lagnesh is in the 12th house, he had a very tough life. He studied under the tube lights and he stayed in a room which was like less than uh, today's bathroom in a middle class house, and there he studied, and he was always a topper. He was topped in high secondary, got a scholarship, so on and so forth. And from a very poor family where about 8 people were sitting together, and everybody was forcing to become a clerk after he did his 10th. So that is what Lagnesh in Baro in the 12th house did. But if you see his horoscope, a very important thing in a sutra, which is very important, that I tell you in horoscope that you're seeing. If Sun is surrounded by two planets like Shukra and Mercury, and Sun is not with Moon, it is a very great, it is a very good thing to have. Second is that if Mars aspects Saturn, which is exalted, I mean, it's like a dynamite which can put a person to take a person to great heights. And here you have seen Mars, which aspects Saturn, which is exalted. Jupiter is in Moon together. Yes, retrogression has this problem. Ketu is in the house of Sagittarius, and Mercury is in the house of Moon, which gave him a great intuition power. It's a horoscope of a very good astrologer, and that's very clear. He was an astrologer right from his childhood, and he started doing his astrology at the age of 8, 10 years, and he had a, as I already told you, had a guru in Allahabad, a rishi, whom he visited on the sands of Ganges until his death. He told him a lot of sutras of even perhaps one thing he always told me, that he never told him how to look at a man and draw the horoscope. On the sand, he used to draw the horoscope of a man as soon as he used to see him, but I don't think he told him that sutra. But that was the kind of people we had in our country, and which people have gone and we missed it out. He did his engineering, then he came into the electrical mechanical engineering in the army, and then he was in administrative services, and in the end he was the Director General of Employment and Training, Directorate of Employment and Training. He was the head there. So you see the power of Mercury, which is there, the power of Jupiter Moon, which actually put him from the military services to the administrative services, and then more as a person who was in charge of apprenticeship training. He did a lot of things during emergency in terms of the Apprenticeship Act and apprenticeship training, and that's what he was. But that's not important. Important was that he rose to a very high position from a position where people usually don't go up, and all his brothers etc. didn't do very well in terms of where they even today. And the children have done well, of course, but that's it. And he had uh, a great kind of a passion to meet a lot of astrologers. So right from um, astrologer who had written the 2 volumes, Subramaniam Swami, I think, not Subramaniam Swami, Subramaniam Rao, Bangalore, who had written about the D charts, the first person who, I mean, a lot of people are talking about D charts and D division charts. He was the first person to actually propagate division charts, and he was in Bangalore. And I remember my father going all the way to Bangalore to meet him, to understand what things were. It was a regular visit to Palghat, where he had Mr. Iyer and Mr. P.S. Iyer. He's no more there, but a lot of astrologers in Palghat used to come and meet him, used to understand things there. Then he had he was also very close to Mr. R.G. Rao, the Bhrigu person, and worked with him on understanding. I mean, his books are basically, he's just written certain things on the rotation, and even I have a book which is a smaller book which says if you're born on this year, this would be the kind of lifestyle you have, because everybody has a particular, excepting a few people, all of us have a similar lifestyle. We get ourselves educated, we get a job, we get married, children, um, health, some debts, and and then we get want children to have their children, and they should be happy, etc., etc. If you look at it, 70 to 80% of people have a similar lifestyle. So, I have a small book of some Pandit is there who is in Ahmedabad who has given him that, and which generally tells in each year what it can be done. Then he used to go to Bombay. It was after the Bhrigu Nadi. I mean, Bhrigu was something, Bhrigu Nadi system. I mean, Nadi is Nadi, but there's a Bhrigu Padhati which was very attractive to him, and he did a lot of work on Bhrigu Padhati. We as I've told you in earlier videos also, that he was he actually talked about the Bhrigu Nadi, and he was very good. He could see a horoscope and tell a lot of things, and certain things he used to tell were very amazing. I mean, he was not a tantric. He didn't do any mantra tantra, but he could tell things amazingly, which are very personal to somebody, which is happening to somebody, or something which is happening in the house, and people didn't know about it. Like, I mean, I remember he told me a time when he was in the plane, and he was a government servant was there, and he was reading a book on astrology. So he said, "Oh, you're an astrologer?" He said, "Yes." So he said, "I'm doing as a hobby." So he said, "You look at this chart." So he looked at his chart and told, his wife uh, learning music. So he said, "Yeah, she's very fond of music, a lovely lady, and she's learning music, and she's so." He said, "You go and find out. She's having a relationship with the person with whom she's doing music." That fellow debunked him, and would annoyed and didn't talk to him on the plane. But anyway, ultimately it was the truth, and she actually ran away with the music teacher. So, and he was a good level businessman. I think was fairly well businessman. But those days, traveling in the plane itself was a very big thing. So anybody who was traveling in the plane was something good. So that was the kind of accuracy is to see horoscopes and start telling things, but we never came to know what were the sutras he applied, and sadly, I was there with him from a very early time, and he used to tell me a lot of things on Kartatva, on the movement of planets and rotation. But I mean, it was like just that. It was when he retired and he had time, I was in my job, and so we didn't spend a huge amount of time. Yes, but after his office hours, also there used to be a mandali, and he was a very good friend of Mr. K.N. Rao, and Mr. K.N. Rao had great regards for him. I remember Mr. K.N. Rao was that time when I was 20 years, I mean 19 years or something, something like 40, 50 years back. I mean 50 years back, Mr. K.N. Rao was not so much in Gemini astrology, but he was a great propagator of division charts. So in his Minto Road house, we used to discuss division charts. So that was the kind of relationship we had. He had with Mr. K.N. Rao, and Mr. K.N. Rao, in his book Unsung Astrologers, has talked about him. But that's not important. I mean, anybody who's great, who loves the science, it's not so much interested in name and fame. And that was it. The only book he wrote was Venus in Astrology, which I'm catching and showing you up, which is written by Sagar Publication, and that is because Narendra Sagar got after him. No, you should write something. Towards the end of his life, he had written this book and given it to Mr. Sagar. That's the photograph of my father, of course, with his PSOs, etc. And we had a long time staying in 2 Talkatora Lane. After that, Mrs. Kiran Bedi was there. So we spent about 20, 21 years in Talkatora Lane. And that used to be a place of a large number of astrologers visiting. There was one Mr. Goel from Escorts. He was used to be constantly coming and sitting and discussing. I do remember Mr. K.N. Rao, Mr. Santhanam, who's no more there. He was a very good astrologer, and again a very great astrologer who knew who's written Dev Keralam and other things. He used to be there, and a large number of people used to just keep on visiting him. Of course, there used to be a large number of people coming to show him astrologers, which were right from the bureaucrats to the politicians, to people like Mrs. Bhinder, to the Prime Minister of the country at that time. A large number of people used to call him, but never mixed his professional life with astrology. I mean, he used to always say that the science is like sacred, and he would never say that. I mean, there were people who said that, okay, what do you want? What can we do? But that was not his forte. I mean, it was like puja for him, and that's what I learned from him. But that kind of dedication he had, and his horoscope also has the ingredients of intuition. So of course I cannot match him. He's my guru, and he's the person who told me to go into the science, and he's motivated to me get into this whole science. And this is my tribute to my father, late K.C. Saksena. Though my name is Shanker Adawal, but his name was K.C. Saksena, and that was the that was his that was about him. So spoke a lot. I think I got a little emotional and carried away, but that's it. And I was doing a part of the video which I will complete now, which was about the area, the year and the planet which is governed for those particular years, and then you can see the planet in the transit, apply to the natal, see the intrinsic strength of that planet during that period, how it is related to in transit with the transiting planet itself, and also its relationship with the other planet, the transiting planet in relationship with the other planets which governs that particular year, the transiting planet with relationship to the natal planets for that particular year, and the relationship of the transiting planet with respect to the planet itself. So those are the things you should see. And if you read, if you know the system, you'll be able to, of course, use it. And it's all about nothing is static. There is a movement of things. And when you're born with certain sanskars. Those sanskars never remain the same. You change. And when your sanskars change, the planets change. The planets change, the transits change, the relationship changes. It's just like, we are something which grow. You're born at a particular time, you're born with a certain prarabdha, but you're doing a lot of karmas, the good karmas, bad karmas, they have some impact. So some of it are stored, but so you always keep on seeing a particular movement of the planets all the time. And it's like, I believe the chart is 360 degrees with 1 degree for 1 year, even less than that. So that's how you have to, keep on seeing it, and it's like a dynamic thing. So you cannot do it statistically, and there is something which you also get by Lord Shiva's grace, which is important. So between 51 to 60. Jupiter 51 years 6 months to 52 years 6 months, Venus 51 years 8 months to 52 years 4 months, Sun 53 years 3 months to 54 years 9 months, Jupiter 53 years 6 months to 54 years 6 months, Saturn 53 years 9 months to 56 years 3 months, Mercury 54 years 7 months to 55 years 5 months, Mars 54 years 10 months to 7 years 2 months, Moon 55 years 4 months to 56 years 8 months, Jupiter 55 years 6 months to 56 years 6 months, Venus 55 years 8 months to 56 years 4 months, Saturn 58 years 9 months to 61 years 3 months, Jupiter 59 years 6 months to 60 years 6 months, Mercury 59 years 7 months to 60 years 5 months, Venus will be 59 years 8 months to 60 years 4 months. So that's what it is, and there is some overlap, so you have to see both planets together. From 61 to 70, Sun 61 years 62 years 3 months to 63 years 9 months, Moon 63 years 4 months to 64 years 8 months, Jupiter 63 years 6 months to 64 years 6 months, Venus 63 years 8 months to 64 years 4 months, Mercury 64 years 7 months to 65 years 5 months, Jupiter 65 years 6 months to 66 years 6 months, Saturn 66 years 3 months to 68 years 9 months, Mars 68 6 years 3 months to 68 years 9 months, Mars will be again 66 years 6 months to 71 years 2 months, Jupiter 67 years 6 months to 68 years 6 months, Venus 67 years 8 months to 68 years 4 months. Mercury 69 years 7 months to 70 years 5 months. So this is how there will be some overlaps, so you can see both the planets. 71 to 80, Sun 71 year 3 months to 72 year 9 months. Moon 71 year 4 months to 72 year 8 months. Jupiter 71 year 6 months to 72 year 6 months. Venus 71 year 8 months to 72 years 4 months. Saturn 73 year 9 months to 76 year 3 months. Mercury 74 year 5 months to 75 year 5 months. Jupiter 75 year 6 months to 76 year 6 months. Venus 75 year 8 months to 76 years 4 months. Mars 75 year 10 months to 78 year 2 months. Jupiter 77 year 6 months to 78 year 6 months. Jupiter will be 75 years 6 months to 76 years 6 months. Venus 75 year 8 months to 76 year 4 months. Mars 75 year 10 months to 78 year 2 months. Jupiter 77 years 6 months to 78 years 6 months. Moon 79 year 4 months to 80 year 8 months. Jupiter 79 years 6 months to 80 year 6 months. Mercury 79 years 7 months to 80 year 5 months. Venus 78 year 8 months to 80 year 4 months. And Saturn 80 year 3 months to 81 year 9 months. So this is it what I have, and these are some of the gems and secrets which he had written, which I've shared with you. I've told you about him. If you go to the website and see K.C. Saksena, Saptarishi Astrology has, I've never met the gentleman, but I've heard a lot about him through Narendra Sagar and other people. He has written about my father. I mean, some excerpts he have written, and you would see that even still it was there. I mean, that time Google was not there, but people have written about him then. I do astrology as a matter of research. It's a hobby, but in the present days and times, perhaps doing anything free has no value. So one day I will monetize it and use the money for good things, for doing good things to help others. Use it for people, for children, for orphans, for teaching, for providing some kind of things to the disabled. I have a small place in Vrindavan where we can do a lot of good activities. So one day I will start charging and also doing, with that money, start doing good things also. That will help improving the karmas of the people who get astrology done by me. Predictions, right, wrong, it's his wish, because at the end of the day, you have to find a vector. I mean, it gives you a possibility. One of this also is your own karmas, which I explained to you. So that's it. You can write to me at connectingminds@gmail.com. You have my website, shankerlawal.com, shankerstudy.com, and my books are there with Sagar Publications. But this was a tribute to my father and what he had told about which other planets would govern certain years and then how to look at them and how to do prediction in an easy snapshot method. And I just wanted to share that secret to you, and inshallah there'll be other secrets which I will share. Thanks, and bye for now. Great. Thank you very much.